Hello, everyone. My name is Anabela Parientes. I'm here with my parents, Sophia and Carlos, and we are going to discuss our heritage as we celebrate National Hispanic Heritage Month. So I will start with Dad. What was it like growing up in Peru?
It was fun. It was adventurous, risk-taking. I grew up in a small town, so it was always something happening.
And Mama, what was it like growing up in Venezuela?
It was a very unique experience and always had, you know, like friends around and neighbors were very involved in your day-to-day life. And it was a very tight-knit sense of community.
What made you decide to come to the United States for college?
I came to the United States because I had a scholarship to go to Villanova University. It was the opportunity of a lifetime, and I could not turn it down.
I had gone to an American school and I was very familiar with the American educational system and what I wanted to experience college life in America and go to a different country, be more independent.
Were you the first of your family to come to the United States?
I was not. I was the second one to come to the United States.
What was that experience like?
It was very exciting. I did not speak any English when I first got to the US, and I didn't realize at the time that I had to learn English until I got on the plane and one of the kids started talking to me in English. That's the first time I realized that I didn't know English.
Did it help you to have somebody here that you knew?
Yes, I think it made it a little bit easier to have my sister by pure coincidence in the same school where I started learning English.
And Mama, what was it like? Were you the first of your family to come to the United States?
No, well, not really. No, at the time I was not. My brother was living here at the time. He was married and had children. And then I came for college because he was here.
And you also had cousins here, so was that helpful to have family around when you first got here?
Yes, it was nice to have people from your family around, especially when you missed home. You could go and visit, um, eat some traditional food that you're used to eating instead of, either college food or, whatever you cooked at home. So it was nice. It helped when you were homesick.
After meeting in college, what made you decide to stay in the United States?
Well, I I don't know. I don't know if it was an option for your dad to come back to Peru. It was an option for me to go back to Venezuela, but I wanted to work independent, like, to get a job after school. Like I had never had a professional job you know, after graduating. I wanted to have that experience here. And then he was also here and got a job. And then it just organically happened that we got married and we stayed here. I don't know that it was even discussed that we would go back.
When I came to the United States, I always knew that I had to stay here. And that's just my personal belief. You don't come all the way here to go back. So when you make the move to immigrate and you settle down and you put roots down and you stay. And also, your mom is from a different country. So this was kind of like the neutral country to stay in and raise a family.
What does being Peruvian mean to you, Dad? And then Mom, when you answer the question, what does being Venezuelan mean to you?
Well, I think being Peruvian is just like my childhood memories. It's the one thing that keeps me grounded and reminds me of who I am. So, I went to the US when I was 18. So, I don't know, I felt lucky to be Peruvian, even though it wasn't easy, but it's my roots and I'm proud of being Peruvian.
And for me, being Venezuelan is also my childhood, growing up with great weather and beaches and, going every weekend to, the social club with the family and seeing friends and, just the good memories of growing up pretty wholesome and just, the food, the Christmas is a special time that always, I miss the most when I'm here because for me, Christmas is supposed to be tropical and, with happy songs like Christmas Spanish songs that we have there. And that's what I miss the most, I guess. And I didn't necessarily look for Venezuelans. I was looking for other Latinos because I knew that it was, especially in the Philadelphia area back in the day when we moved in the late 80s, early 90s, there weren't too many Latinos. And I think we all kind of looked for each other and found each other. It didn't matter where you came from. And it was actually fun to learn about other Latin American countries and their foods and their, customs, because even though we speak the same language, a lot of our customs are different and how we celebrate things are sometimes different. And it was always fun for me to learn, the differences between us within the commonalities of our cultures.
So yesterday I was watching a show and one of the characters, she is a Mexican American woman who married into an American family, and the whole episode was about how she panicked, like, oh my gosh, I didn't do a good job of raising my kid to be Mexican enough or to appreciate our heritage enough. So I want to reframe that and ask, was it difficult for you to raise us and teach us about your culture? And Mom, you have two cultures, which we're not talking about one here, but that makes it even more difficult. So how was it trying to raise a family in America and trying to preserve your culture and your heritage?
Well, it was very challenging because, like you said, even though we're not talking about my second culture, there were three cultures that we were trying to raise you in, and the two were they all are they have a lot of similarities in many things. I mean, apart from the food, that definitely they're not similar. But the sense of family and traditions is very strong in all of them. And I think we did a good job. I mean, sometimes I wish that we could have been even more like try to take you to our countries more and things like that, but it was not always possible. And but I still think that you guys, all the three of you, are able to, you all love both the Peruvian cuisine and Venezuelan cuisine, and you have learned how to cook, and you love these like the junk food I grew up with, you all love, and it's just like it's a nice part of passing on to my children the love for things from my country, even the chocolates and stuff like that. That's that's always endearing to see that you guys know where we came from and that you appreciate it.
And for you, Dad, was it challenging to teach us about Peruvian culture when we were young?
I guess because Peruvian culture is very different from your mom's, Venezuelan or Greek. But I don't know. I think it wasn't as important to me. To me, it was very important that you guys become American and accepted. And then obviously, I did want you to learn about Peru, but to me, I did not want to raise Peruvian kids in the US. I want to raise American kids with a Peruvian heritage. So my point of view is very different from your mom's. My expectations were different. So yeah, well, it was challenging. It wasn't my priority. I mean, I like the fact that you guys know that are Peruvian, but it's such a different culture and different world, even from Venezuela and Greece. But again, my main goal was to raise you guys as American kids with a Peruvian heritage.
Yes, I think as we got older, we took it a little bit more upon ourselves to connect with
Yes.
our Peruvian roots, and we're all very proud of them, and we especially love the food.
But the
And
best breakfast is Venezuelan breakfast. You know that, right?
yes, of course.
Arepas.
I think when I was growing up, I always wanted to be different from my peers. I think I always saw myself a little bit different in the sense of I didn't really know anybody else who spoke another language. And looking back now, I know there probably were a handful of kids who did, and I just never knew because it wasn't anything they talked about outside of their home. But it was something I think I took upon myself to differentiate myself from my peers. And so I never really thought about being first generation American until I got older and I realized, oh, when I want to go hang out with my friends, the expectations are different than they are for my friends, at least as a high schooler. Because when I was younger, I was following expectations as opposed to trying to balance them with my own wants and needs. And then as I got into college, I think I was able to embrace that even more, being a part of different cultures, because I saw that there were so many other people who also were, and it wasn't something to necessarily use to differentiate myself, but it's something that I can be proud of and connect with other people about. And I'm very proud to be first generation American. I'm proud of some of the sacrifices you guys made in order to be able to raise us the way that we were raised here and still be able to be proud of our roots and be able to travel and connect with people on a different level. I think that being multicultural is one of my favorite things about myself.
And that was my goal. That we all, even though we speak the same language, a lot of us, the Latin Americans, we do have a lot of different traditions and customs, and sometimes people just group everybody together and don't realize that even within the Hispanics, the Hispanic, all the different countries and all the Latino countries, that we we're also very different. We have a lot of similarities, but there's a lot of cultural differences within our countries. Not the language, but the foods, the music, the traditions. There's a lot of different differences between us.
I think South America is the biggest secret for traveling. So if you ever have the chance, make sure you travel South America.
Not just Mexico,
Yeah.
but Puerto Rico.
Just go south, way south of the equator. It gets better. Okay.
He means
Okay.
Peru.
Thank you
Alright.
too. And enjoy
Gracias.
the rest of your vacation.
Ciao.
Bye.